Black magic.
You got to know, got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you want, so just tell me what you want to hear.
Welcome back to another edition of RatG TV, the Big Smoke Edition. We are bringing the smoke today for all of our geeks.
No mirrors.
That's it, man. You know what? The geeks have been asking us to bring the smoke, though, when it comes to, a little more geek-related content. We've got that for you this week. We are ranking our favorite top 5 MCU movies. We would have ranked them all, but there's 22 of these movies? 22, 26 of these movies? Too much for us. That'd be 44 picks. But we are doing our top 5. We're asking you, hey, you tell us what are your favorites as well. We'll put them in the comments here, let the people know. And aside from that, Steve, you got your 5-second movie review this week as well. You are reviewing.
Yes, The Woman in the Window, starring everybody, man. Gary Olson, Anthony Mackie, Wyatt Russell, Amy Adams, Julianne Moore.
Man, it's like a who's who of superhero movies.
Right.
And Julianne Moore, as we all remember, was in the Kingsman movie, so that's her somewhat connection to the comic world. So we're looking forward to that 5-second movie review. We've also got a lot of news coming your way in the second half of the show. Excuse me. Our buddy Jordan James not here this week. He'll be back next week with another edition of OK Boomer. But I do have my TikToker of the week this week, and it's a good one, folks. And also, me and Steve's favorite person of the week, Clanny. Time to get Clanny out of the way right away. Just get it out of the way. Luke says, good evening, guys. And Deadpool, get out. Get out. Let us just start off by saying, or let me start by saying, there is a certain criteria when it comes to this. It's not, it's not easy, I guess, per se, but the MCU films only. That means the Marvel Cinematic Universe contained in that world where it's all part of the same story. So movies that predated The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton that have the Marvel label don't count. Movies that were produced by Fox or Sony don't count. So no X-Men movies, no Deadpool movies, no Fantastic Four movies. The only Spider-Man movies that count are the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. Venom doesn't count. Yeah. So that's not us being sticklers.
My top 5 would have been completely different. For
sure. Blade would have been very close to number 1 for me. I would have had a really tough time with that one. I'm not going to lie. Anyways, I digress. So that is our criteria. So Luke, I know you had to, but Deadpool does not count in this one. So we will get to those basically right away. That's what we do. But you guys gave us a lot of answers this week as well. So I'm going to go through a couple of those right now. I'm going to go through the ones that are on my page, and then we will give Steve his shot to give us his 5, and then I'll go through the rest that are on Ryan's All Things Geek. And as you're watching the show, folks, if you think of ones, shout them out. We'll pop them up there for you. Easy for me to say. So come on. Anyways, so here we go. Starting off with Chad Golden. No, I'm making you wait just because, and you know why. Nick Blay started off. Ant-Man he's got. I don't know if this is in any particular order. This is the way he's got them listed. Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok, and Captain America the Winter Soldier. I'm going to think every list is solid because I'm a Marvel homer. I like all the movies. Like, not all of them, but for the most part, I like them all. What else we got there? Neil NH from the UK says, okay, I want to try and commit to this list. It changes so often. Here we go. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Thor Ragnarok, Captain America, Civil War, Avengers, Infinity War / Endgame. He cheated and combined 2 movies there. He thinks it's honestly just one 5-hour movie, but yeah. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
Not to get too off topic, and I forgot I was going to try and have this as one of my stories, but did you hear that there is a 4-hour cut of Revenge of the Sith?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I would say that Revenge of the Sith is my favorite of the prequels.
Definitely.
4 hours, though?
I
That's
think
a long time, yo.
I think it's one of the longest one. I think it comes in at just over 2 hours and 20 minutes as is.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's pretty insane, though. And that would mean there's going to be a lot more Jar Jar, I think. And I don't need that. I don't need it. Should have kept it to myself. I should have just kept it to myself. I think we're going to see a lot of Thor Ragnarok. It was pretty much the first comedic one. The first comedic Thor one, that's for sure. I think the first comedic movie is Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie, honestly. Say what you will about it being an action movie and a redemption story and a discovery story.
Love it.
Yeah, right. Like, I really, though, that last fight was what, 30 minutes longer? Would love to see the Sith movie. See that Sith movie. Yeah. If you're going to do that, give me Ahsoka. Oh, but there's no way to do it, though, because Ahsoka was made by Dave Filoni afterwards. I wish there was a way they could give us that 4-hour cut, but include some of the Filoni verse into it, because they have retconned a lot of that stuff. And come on, midichlorians. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get over it, but midichlorians? Really, folks? Speaking of Wolf, who we just saw right there, he says, number 5, WandaVision, our first person to say a Disney Plus show. I thought it was really good. I was one of those people, though. I liked the retro shows that they did, like for the first few episodes, but I think it should have only been like 2 episodes of that and then get into the real show. It was too much of the sitcom thing for me, but that's just me. But I'm glad to see an MCU or TV show on here. Thor Ragnarok, a lot of people are saying that. Captain America Winter Soldier, we're going to see that a lot on here. Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War. I have spoken. And then he said if he could cheat like Neil did, he's going to combine 1 and 2 and put Civil War at number 5, which I totally get. Will Mahoney says Iron Man, Avengers, the first one, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Endgame, and Captain America Winter Soldier. Our buddy Sean Rose says Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, WandaVision, another vote for WandaVision, Captain America the First Avenger, and Ant-Man. Ant-Man's a really fun movie. And then Daniel Van Descent, our boy in Australia. How you doing, mate? And yeah, agreed with Ahsoka for sure. Daniel says Iron Man, Captain America Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, and the Avengers. There's a lot of people on here. And Chad Golden, actually, he's the last one here. Oh, no, we got one more. Chad Golden says Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Doctor Strange again, Age of Ultron. I'm so happy to see Age of Ultron in here because I really, really like Age of Ultron. And it gets so much hate out there. And I think a lot of the hate now is from a lot of people that hate Joss Whedon because of all the revelations that have come out afterwards. Now, I realize people didn't like it back then either, but they didn't hate it like they do now. But I honestly liked it. I thought it was a great story. I thought it was a good introduction of Quicksilver and Wanda. And yeah, man, I don't know. I loved, to me, that was the best we've seen of Hawkeye as well. The best use of him in the entire movie or the entire franchise. From there, he says Blade. What did we say, Chad? And then we went on for a while as we tried to explain it to him. And he settled with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is not MCU either. Jeff Levesque, you've got the final one here before Steve gets into his. Number 5, WandaVision. Number 4, Captain America Civil War. Number 3, Thor Ragnarok. Number 2, Guardians Volume 1. And in the number 1 spot, he's got Avengers Endgame. And he can do this all day. It's a little shout out to Captain America. Just saying. All right. So that's it. That's all their picks. What have you got, sir?
Mine are as someone who's not, a comic book guy per se. I mean, I grew up on as a kid, Spider-Man and the Hulk were the shit. Obviously I watched the Batman series from the 60s, and that was great too. Absolutely love that stuff. So Justice League cartoon. So my list, I think, is a lot different more than the avid Marvel fan. And I went with Iron Man 1 at number 5. I just thought, I didn't even really know much about Iron Man coming into these movies at all. I'd heard of him, but really didn't know a lot about him. And Robert Downey Jr., a big fan of his whole career. So I thought that was an easy pick at number 5. And you'll see a running theme through the rest of these. Number 2, as Ryan mentioned earlier, he was happy to see someone mention Avengers Age of Ultron. I thought it was a great movie, fun movie. Just all around, like I said, as someone who's not, doesn't know all the ins and outs and inside jokes, it was just a really good, fun movie.
Yeah, and there were a lot of puns in that movie as well. But I think that was a lot of the takeaway that I've heard people today complain about is that there was a lot of, they didn't like Robert Downey Jr.'s joke about if he was to lift the hammer, he would reinstate Illuminaqua or whatever it was called. But it was basically this Viking tradition of just going out and having sex with whoever, and I think it was raping and pilling. But it was just partying debauchery and making that a thing. There was that, and then there was the joke that he makes later in it. Like, has anyone seen Banner and Widow? They better not be playing hide the zucchini. So people were complaining about those being too much back then before Disney even owned it.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't get a lot of the hate there. I mean, sure, they're lowbrow jokes, but that's that character.
Right.
And that character has grown since then as well, as he's supposed to. You have to, if you want to see character growth, they have to be able to start somewhere. They have to be rooted somewhere to be able to actually grow. Sorry.
Very, very true. Very true.
And James fucking Spader.
Sorry?
And James fucking Spader.
I know you're a big fan of his.
Yeah, man.
Where did I leave off? Number 3?
Yep.
Number three, the Hulk. I think it was the best use of the Hulk in any of the movies, including the Avengers movies. I like Mark Ruffalo, but I don't know. I just thought the story was better as an old school Hulk fan. Something, one of the ones that I liked since my childhood, because I remember coming into the first series of Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire thinking, Tobey Maguire, really? Oh, man, they're going to ruin Spider-Man. Now I look back and I'm like, man, those Tobey Maguire movies were good.
The first two were good.
Yeah.
That third one with and Topher Grace's Venom was a little meh.
Yeah.
It was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see you put the Hulk here because I'm with you. I think Ed Norton's Hulk is the best Hulk there's been so far. Yeah. And that's not knocking Mark Ruffalo.
No, not at all. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Ed Norton Jr. put his heart into that, and people didn't like it because they said he was a diva on set, and it's because he wanted to make a good fucking movie. He could have went about it differently, but in the end, they got a really good movie out of it, and I would have really liked to have seen him throughout this whole MCU growth.
Yeah, that's too bad. Number 2, Infinity War. I went and saw this one at the movies with my boy. Again, not knowing a whole lot of all these characters that were introduced to the movies, like Thanos, and I remember turning to him at the end of the movie, and I leaned in and I'm like, "So you're telling me Thanos is the hero in all this?" And he just really.
I am not shocked. I'm not shocked.
And number 1, I don't think anybody that knows me is surprised by this one, and that's Ant-Man, the first one. It was just Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd gets me.
Paul Rudd gets me. He just does. He just understands me on a deep, deep level. That's awesome. Yeah, man. Ant-Man was a fun movie. Avengers Infinity War, I thought was a really fun movie as well. I didn't have either of those on my list. Like I said, though, I did have Incredible Hulk, so I changed mine up a bit. But we do want to give equal time to our fans on Ryan's All Things Geek page there that are joining us as well. And those of you that are there that have commented, I have got your comments here. And so first we're going to go with Emery Twist. He's got the Guardians of the Galaxy at number 5. Number 4, Thor Ragnarok. Number 3, Captain America the Winter Soldier. Number 2, Avengers Infinity War. And number 1, Captain America the First Avenger. Longtime fan of the page, Steve Maldonado says Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier, Iron Man, and Spider-Man Homecoming. I think that's our first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
All right. Sabrina Ewings, also a longtime fan of the page. Thor Ragnarok, number 1. Number 2, Black Panther. Number 3, Captain America Civil War. Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy. And number 5, Spider-Man Homecoming. Ant-Man I put off for quite some time, but I was surprised I liked it. Iron Man 3 was trash. A lot of people say that about Iron Man 3. I low-key like Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I thought it was all the Iron Man movies.
I didn't really like the second one, but I didn't hate it like everyone else did. Speaking of, Luke says Robert Downey Jr. is really an epic actor. He was awesome in Iron Man, in my opinion. I know he had issues, but even before those, he was a great in U.S. Marshals. Dude, you have no idea. We've been watching Robert Downey Jr. since Weird Science and the rest of those Brat Pack movies.
I watched Weird Science on Disney Plus yesterday.
It's on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I am watching that. I am such a Wyatt. No Black Panther or Wonder... Ron. MCU. Wonder Woman. You were half right. You were half right with your indignation.
You gave it the old community college try.
Yes, you did. Welland Community College. Who else we got on here? Sabrina, we finished. Luke. Finally, we got Luke's here. He said, number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 4, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 3, Iron Man. Number 2, Thor Ragnarok. Number 1, Deadpool. I like Deadpool too. I really do. It's just not an MCU movie. Once we told him about that, he said he was settling for a really great epic MCU movie, and he went with Rogue One. He is now banned.
Interesting.
John, I'm so sorry. I'm going to mess up your name right now. I'm sorry. But John Yenowine says, number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 2, Iron Man. Number 3, Captain America. Number 4, Thor Ragnarok. Number 5, Avengers Endgame. And finally, Jason Griffith says, Winter Soldier is without question my number 1. The rest would take some time. Fair enough. Stop it, Luke. Stop. Ron, stop. Get out. Both get the fuck out. Just stop. Just say no. Both of you. But thank you for the chips, Ron. All right. I guess I should get to mine then. Getting to mine quickly. I did have at number 5 Ed Norton's Incredible Hulk, but because yours was there, I didn't want to overdo it. So I slid in my honorable mention / number 6, and that was the Black Panther. This was an epic movie. I mean, and this was an epic movie just in scope alone, not just for what it did for, Black representation for most of the cast and writers and directors. But it was just huge to see it visually. The graphics were just out of this world in that. But for me, the only reason why it originally didn't make my top 5 was just because of that final fight scene between T'Challa and Killmonger. Because it was all CG and it didn't need to be. If they would have kept that one non-CG and had them out of their suit and, have T'Challa beat him one-on-one, that would have had him redeem himself, making him the king again, and then, it wouldn't have looked like, let's be honest, all these superhero movies, the ones that have the big CG finales are always the ones that we're always like, oh, why? Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman. I'm just like, they're all great until they get to that point. So, yeah. Okay, I promise. No more just clanning from now on. I promise. Fair.
He will be the next MCU supervillain.
He better be. And we better get some. If he is, we getting a check for that. I'm just saying, we got a check for that shit. Kurt Jr. says, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. Good list. All right, so I went with Black Panther. Number 4 for me was Thor Ragnarok. I liked the first Thor movie. I really can't do the second one. I've tried a few times, just couldn't get into it. This one is, although it's not Thor, like this isn't a Thor, or really what Thor's like in the comic books or even in, mythology. It was a funny fucking movie. And yeah, it was a total departure of almost every character in there aside from Loki. It was a fun movie. And I mean, even you go to the beginning with Loki still being alive and impersonating Odin, and they've got that big play at the beginning where they're celebrating Loki's life, and playing the actor that is playing Thor is actually Thor's older brother, Luke Hemsworth. So, which was pretty cool. And Matt Damon playing Loki, right? And then Sam Neill from Jurassic Park as Odin. So, and it was just a huge movie. It was good. A lot of fun. And anytime you have that much Led Zeppelin in a soundtrack, I'm going to be all right with it. Number 3 on my list, Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh my God. This was the Spider-Man movie I have been waiting for. Now, you talked about Tobey Maguire and being happy with that, and I really was as well. But if Tobey was playing Spider-Man at that point, I wish he was playing Spider-Man once he was already Spider-Man for some time, like for a few years, because he was like in his 30s playing, he was Luke Perry in fucking 90210. And then the next movie, Andrew Garfield, the same thing. Both of them, I thought they were both great as Spider-Man. I really did. I actually liked Andrew Garfield a bit better than Tobey, to tell you the truth. But Tom Holland, even though he was 19 when he played the role of a 15-year-old, it's still a hell of a lot closer and a lot more believable. The hardest part I have with Tom Holland is every once in a while, his British accent slips in, and you can really tell he's not from New York at all. So, but yeah, for me, Spider-Man Homecoming, loved it. Love seeing a young Aunt May, especially if it's Marissa Tomei. And then, yeah, man. And we didn't have to see the Uncle Ben thing again. It's like every Batman movie when we have to see Batman's parents die. We didn't have to see that this time.
Yeah.
Luke says, would I be wrong to say Natalie Portman was wrong as Jane? Yes, you would, because she wasn't Jane. That was, yeah, there was, who's Jane? Like Mary Jane? So it was Kirsten Dunst in the first one.
Fire ones, yeah.
With the only Mary Jane ever has been Kirsten Dunst, because Zidania plays Michelle something, and she goes by MJ, but it's not Mary Jane Watson. So, let me see. Want to become famous by fall? Whoa, thanks. We got our first spam bot. Thank you, spam. Thank you, Russia. We love you. From Russia with love. Oh, Jane Foster from Thor. Oh, I am so sorry. Thank you, Wolf. Duh. Yes. I like Natalie Portman as Jane Foster. I liked her a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing her as Thor. She's going to be great. Sorry, I meant Thor's girlfriend. I'm drunk, to be fair. No, that was my bad. I should have picked up on that. Natalie Portman and Jane. It was an easy connection to make that I just missed. And the caller is correct, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. All right. Where did I leave off? Thor Ragnarok, Spider-Man. Number 2 on my list, I went with Avengers Endgame. I mean, there's just so many iconic moments in this movie that are just so either you want to cry or you just laugh your ass off. I mean, from just I am Iron Man to, Cap picking up Mjolnir, like the theater going crazy. I went to watch that live, and everybody just started screaming when he got the hammer. It was like, and as cool as that was, I still don't think that was quite as cool or as a choke up moment, especially for a guy like me, a comic book nerd, as on your left, Cap, and then Sam and everybody comes out. It's just such a great movie, so well done, and it's the ultimate comic book movie. But because it's the ultimate comic book movie, it doesn't mean it's the ultimate MCU movie. And the ultimate MCU movie for me has always been, and until someone can make another MCU film, I don't think anyone will ever uncrown Captain America, the Winter Soldier for me. This was a fantastic spy film. There was not very much superheroing in this movie at all. I mean, you've got some heavy hitter and actors here. Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier, the Manchurian candidate that he is in this, is awesome. Robert Redford is awesome in this movie. Sam Jackson, always awesome. And Chris Evans just shows time and time again that he is the ultimate Boy Scout. If they were to dye his hair black, put a spit curl in his hair, I'd be like, make him Superman. Because he is the ultimate Boy Scout, and he can make being a Boy Scout likable, like Christopher Reeves did with Superman. So for that reason and that reason alone, that film will always remain number 1 for me. On your left. Yeah, man. On your left. On your left. So that's my list. That's our list. I hope you guys enjoyed the list. That's not the end of the show, though. That is not. That is just the beginning, as they say. We are about to hit Steve's 5-second movie review, but before we do that, we always like to give a little shout out to our sponsors and pay the bills, as you will. Just up over there on Steve's side. Listen, if you are looking for internet in your neighborhood or in your area, anywhere in Canada, and you're looking to save a little bit of money, but not sacrifice your internet speed, give the folks at DocNet a call. They'll hook you up. Tony's got your hookup. Tell them RatG sent you, Zeus sent you. They will get you all set up. And I say every week, we stream this as I'm playing video games, and my son's playing video games, and I've got Netflix on in the background, all that stuff, and still we've got this great stream. That is the best proof I can show to you folks that, hey, you want to save some money, this is the way to do it. And do that. Give Tony a call. Not only can he hook you up with internet, he can hook you up with a home phone as well. So if you want to ignore those bill collectors, always have a home phone line. They call that one first. I don't know. Anyways, give DocNet a call. DocNet.ca, connecting your home to the rest of the world. Ghost Rider, shot. Is that a new signboard behind you, Steve? Looks good anyways. It's a new old one.
Yeah, it's a new old one. Yeah. This is the one we used to take to conventions when conventions were a thing.
Why'd you have to go there, Steve? It's finally getting over not being at a convention. I'm jonesing. Well, you're jonesing concerts. I see that every single day. Oh, wait. My biggest lament is that they couldn't keep Spider-Man appearance in Civil War a secret. Imagine being at that first showing and you had no idea Spidey would be there to snatch Cap's shield. It would have been insane. Oh my God, you're so right. But sadly, that's just the world we live in now. It's hard to keep anything a secret. But they did the smart thing, though, I think, with like moving forward. Like with Avengers Infinity War, they'd shown the Incredible Hulk running towards Thanos or whatever. Then you watch the actual movie, and it's not Hulk. It's Bruce Banner in the Hulk armor, or in the Iron Hulk armor. So, yeah. I completely agree with you there. Now, let us move on to Steve's 5-second movie review. Pretty excited about this one. Steve, what's the movie you're reviewing again?
So it's a Netflix movie just came on yesterday called Woman in the Window, starring Amy Adams. And as I mentioned, Gary Oldman, Anthony Mackie, just an amazing cast. Julianne Moore.
Who's who of actors.
So, it's a new take on Rear Window, which was an Alfred Hitchcock movie starring Jimmy Stewart.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right. I know the movie. All right. Well, for those that don't know the movie or aren't familiar with that movie, here's a little kind of photo of it. So, if you're ready, my friend. Oh, hang on. Amy Adams, ooh la la.
Not in this one.
I was gonna say I'm not there with you.
Definitely not in this one.
Well, without further ado, then let's get to it, and it's time for Steve's 5-second movie review by Steve. Yeah, jazz hands. Fuck. You win. Damn it. All right, Steve. So for those of you who have never seen the show before, Steve takes a movie. Obviously, the name says it all. He's got 5 seconds to review said movie this week. As he said, the Amy Adams movie, The Woman in the Window. Steve, your 5 seconds are on the board. You may begin now.
For a good evening, watch this movie. For a great one, watch something else.
So not good?
Yeah, I wanted to like this movie. I'm a Hitchcock fan. I liked Rear Window. I thought it was a great story. This one, to me, you knew there was going to be a twist. Like I said, it's a take on the old Hitchcock movie. You knew there was going to be a twist. That was evident. The twist just wasn't there for me at the end, and it was a lot. It was a lot to do for nothing, and it was really disappointing for me.
Oh well, that sucks to hear. But I mean, I'm not an Amy Adams fan. I don't know what it is about her.
And Amber absolutely enjoyed it. So you know what? Watch it for yourself, like we say every week.
Yeah, man. Different strokes, different folks. You never know. I was waiting for Steve to say, "There's a woman in the window." Crap. Yeah, we all were. I don't know. Are you an Amy Adams fan?
I am.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's a decent actress.
And she put her acting chops on for this one. So she plays someone who's agoraphobic, has a fear of going outside. In,
Yep.
in Rear Window, he had a broken leg. He couldn't
Right.
get outside. So this one, a little different. Experienced some psychological trauma and created, almost an alternate universe for herself, as well as being agoraphobic. So witnessing this crime across the street in the window, people weren't quite sure if she really knew what she was seeing, and was questioning it because she was on medication for her.
So it almost even sounds a little bit like Vertigo too.
Yeah.
Because Vertigo was basically the same thing too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact plot of Vertigo, but they went for the, like I said, the big Hitchcock spin, the big Hitchcock reveal, and it just, for me, it wasn't there.
So if you were going to give this a score out of 5, what are you giving it?
I'd probably give it a 2.
A 2 out of 5. Dang. Zeus, you need a refill. Call your kids. Daddy needs a JD. My son is actually at his mom's for the weekend. I do have JD on hand. I'm just at a mix. And I have to, well, I'm not at a mix. I just don't have any right here. But yes, thank you for noticing. I'll wait for our next commercial and I'll definitely do that though. So that was it. Yeah. Well, all right, man. So that being said, because that was Steve's movie review, it's a good time for me to mention tonight at 10 p.m. Jade and I will be on for He Said, She Said. We are reviewing movies this week. I have no idea even what we're reviewing. I know what I'm reviewing. That's it. I'm sorry. I am reviewing the movie Sex and the City and The Conjuring, our first horror movies. And yeah.
You need some tissue?
For Sex and the City? It's not that kind of Sex and the City movie. I thought it was going to be a porn too, but it wasn't. That's nothing. Surprisingly, very little Sex in the City actually happening in Sex in the City. Just saying. A lot of people looking for sex. Mostly the thirsty old ladies that are our age now, or probably a little bit younger. They were cougars, and they were probably younger than what we are now.
Right.
Oh! My brain just melted. Howard the Duck for Steve. LOL. I had to for 5-second review next. That's what he would like to see you do for. I speak, Ron. He wants you to review Howard the Duck next. You've seen Howard the Duck, though.
I have seen Howard the Duck. So I did say last week that I was hoping to be reviewing Spiral today, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So wasn't on Google
Isn't
Play.
it in the theaters? Isn't it in the theaters?
It's in theaters in the States.
Oh, we don't have our theaters aren't open though.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't on Google Play. It wasn't. I couldn't find it anywhere. So hopefully next week.
The Conjuring, great. Sex in the City. I feel for you, buddy. What a load of at. What?
If not Spiral next week, the Book of Saw, I will review Army of the Dead. Which comes out
yes, the new Zack Snyder movie.
Right.
Which we promoted the day when the trailer first dropped because we have that little connection with Netflix now. So that's why you saw us post the trailer for the new Robert Downey Jr. and Susan Downey produced movie Sweet Tooth based on the DC Vertigo comics. So yes, we're getting all these trailers from Netflix and stuff like that. So we're getting like the stuff that the bigger sites are getting as well. We're really happy for that. We're working on getting some of the interviews that go along with those as well. So baby steps. It's only taken us like 14 years to get here. Army of the Dead looks pretty good. Look forward to Steve's review. I mean, it looks like a Dave Bautista movie and Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista. Now, we're going to get into the news. I wanted to put this story in there, but I didn't put the story in. But have you seen Dave Bautista just lately complaining about everywhere he's worked?
Yeah.
He complained about Marvel. He complained about DC. Now he's complaining about WWE. This guy, listen, I understand you've lucked into some good roles. I want to say this as nicely as possible in case I ever meet you in real life and you decide to rip my head off. But fuck it. Acting is not your strong suit. I'm just saying you don't have range. You know why you're great at Drax?
Right.
The reason why you're good at Drax is because Drax has nothing. Drax is just a blank nothing. So you're absolutely perfect for that. And this is coming off way more insulting than I want it to. I really don't want it to be this insulting.
This is you.
But it's not his thing.
This is you introducing
he was good in
the Legends of Wrestling.
What's that?
This is you introducing the Legends of Wrestling again.
Oh my God. Oh my. You know what? I still blame Jake the Snake.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was Jake the Snake Roberts' fault.
Fair.
Now, try telling that to the Brooklyn Brawler. I'm just saying. Big crybabies. Some of them can be. And it's funny to me how often, and Ron, actually, I think you and I talked about this earlier today, how often big tough guys are always the biggest whiners, or the ones that talk the toughest are usually the ones that are complaining the most. Now, I admit that I do complain, but I usually complain about the people who complain, or I complain about hypocrites. Usually that's my thing. And I understand that can be hypocritical in itself, but everybody's got a thing. That's my thing. And yeah, I don't know. Poor Dave, he's not paid enough. Yeah, like, come on, man. You got to be in a Luc Besson film. You were in Blade Runner. You weren't great in that movie. You played a robotic part like you usually do, which you do well in. Same with what was the movie with him and Jodie Foster, where they work at that underground hospital for criminals.
Oh, I hadn't seen that yet.
It's actually really good, and he's decent in that movie, but it's the same thing. He's very quiet and reserved. So I think directors know that. They're like, if we're going to bring him on, just so we can get his followers, basically, let's give him a role where there's not that much to the character. Because Drax is funny as shit. But the reason why is because there's nothing to his character. Right. I'm sorry, guys. I am so sorry. We didn't even get into the news yet, and I just went on a whole tirade, and it's only my first Jack Daniels. All right. So, Kurt Jr. says, looking forward to the Army of the Dead. Have you seen Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix? No, I have not, but I keep seeing it promoted. I'm not a big anime fan, and I think it's anime, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Akira really turned me off of anime. And I know that's the gold standard for anime, but honestly, I just never got it. I watched it. It just, I don't know, did nothing. All right, Stevie. I think it's time for us to get to some news. What do you think?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's do some news. Big shout out to our boy Jordan James. Check out the show, Jordan James Show. Drops, I think, every Tuesday on YouTube. Great show. He's the one who did our little intro there for us. Now, we start off every week the same way, and it's always bad news. Sorry, just saw some other stuff coming up here. But let's get to the news. Steve, you are our bearer of bad news. What happened?
Yeah, this one was tough. New Jack, as he was known in ECW, Jerome Young, to his family and friends, of course, an innovator. You know, he was definitely a guy who went above and beyond for his art, and He was the subject of a couple documentaries. Of course, I'm talking about Dark Side of the Ring. He was featured in an episode last season, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think it was season 2.
he was also the focus of a documentary that was based around Foley, Jake the Snake, and him called Beyond the Mat, which is another great movie if you've never seen it.
Yeah. That's probably still my favorite wrestling documentary, Beyond the Mat.
It really takes you inside Jake the Snake's life.
Well, not only that they just happened to be so lucky to be there after the Hell in the Cell.
Right.
Remember? And we got to see the tooth afterwards coming out of Mick Foley's nose. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, New Jack.
Yeah, ECW, for me, since I haven't really watched a lot, for me, that was the last really great era of wrestling that I was really into it. I remember going to see it with Mike and Papo and Jay Hart in Mississauga when they came. RVD was there, Sandman was there, Balls Mahoney, Tommy Dreamer, Full Blooded Italians, Rhino, just incredible.
Nice, just incredible. Yeah, I saw them too. Burt Flickinger Arena in Buffalo, a high school, I believe it was. Same deal though. New Jack there, RVD, Tommy Dreamer. I think Chris Jericho might have been there. I don't know if it was that era or not when he was there, but yeah, good times. And New Jack, I watched him stab a dude in the head with scissors. He took scissors like this, like these, and sure, it was probably out just about to there. And stabbed it. No! And after watching Dark Side of the Ring with, what was that guy's name? Nick Gage?
Nick Gage, yeah.
I could only imagine the fights those two would have had if they've ever fought.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't wait to ask you if you had heard of that guy. I watched that one last night or the night before, and yeah, it was something else.
Did you have to look away at all?
No.
Because it was all real life stuff, and you say you don't like that stuff. And there was some shit that they showed. Like, he stabbed that dude in the neck with a light bulb. With a tube light bulb.
Yeah, those guys are something else, man.
And the pizza cutter across the lip. Yeah.
That makes the stunts I pulled as a kid look like, preschool shit.
And from now on, when anybody tells me that wrestling is fake, I am showing them the clip of him taking the pizza cutter to David Arquette. Because that was insane. We don't mean to take away from New Jack. That's just kind of where it leads on from. He was what, 58?
58 years old, yeah. Heart attack.
I saw the family put up a GoFundMe page to help out with the funeral expenses and things like that. So if you can help out, because a legend, absolute legend. And didn't he say in the documentary he figured he was going to live till like he was in his 90s, be in a wheelchair and still doing blow?
Yeah.
That's how he ended that.
That was how he went. Oh, yeah. New Jack.
Rip New Jack. I think New Jack would have fit in really well in Welland. He's sad. Shit. All right. So from bad news to more bad news.
Yeah, so I didn't necessarily know who this actor was. I mentioned him mostly because we did talk about Rear Window earlier, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, in conjunction to my review of A Woman in a Window. But this actor, once I started digging into him, like Norman Lloyd, this guy worked with everybody. I mean, he worked with Charlie Chaplin, Orson Welles.
Man.
Mostly known to, I guess, people of our age, at least, for being on St. Elsewhere. He was in Dead Poets Society, and he worked a lot with Hitchcock. He was in The Saboteur, was his best known role for a Hitchcock movie, but he was actually in a few Hitchcocks. So
I did not know that. That's well, I knew the Hitchcock stuff. I didn't. Yeah, fuck, man. I didn't even know who the dude was, honestly.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Wicked.
106 years old. 106. He would have been 107 in a few months.
Damn, dude had a good long life.
He was in the industry for over a century.
Hey, congrats to that dude. You won. You won, dude. You definitely won. Right on. Well, so I get everybody's sick of masks and sick of talking about lockdowns and shit like that, especially in Canada. You folks that are watching around the world, unless you're in India, you're not really getting it like how we are over here with lockdowns and shit on and off. But in the States, they've got a lot of the vaccinations have gone through. So the CDC has lifted some laws saying they don't have to wear masks outdoors if you've been vaccinated.
Right.
So because of that, Universal Studios has now said you do not have to wear your mask inside the park anymore while you're outside. I know that doesn't make sense, inside but outside. But as long as you're not in line for anything, you're not on a ride, or you're not inside a gaming area or something like that, those places you have to wear a mask. But if you're just out walking with your family throughout the park, you don't have to wear your mask at all. I mean, all right. Like, they're already at what, 33% of the population vaccinated over there?
Vaccinated, yeah.
Yeah.
Like 60-some% with one shot.
Yeah, exactly. So they're almost already at herd immunity. So
yeah,
it's so weird to think that they've got their shit together.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, yeah. But is it though? Like, is it like? I mean, I feel in Canada. I feel in Canada. Every single if Trudeau has a problem, I think his biggest problem is he listens to every province, and he lets he's like, all right, whatever the majority says, that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
And now I am just purely speculating on that. I have no fucking insider knowledge. I haven't read anything. I'm doing the one thing I try not to do. I'm speaking about what I've heard, not what I know.
Right.
And that's how we should live life. Talk about what you know, not what you heard.
Right.
Just saying. Anyways, let's go from mask story to another mask story.
Yeah, a reunion of sorts, as I'm trying to speak. Adam Sandler was in IHOP a couple weeks ago and was turned away because now we thought, there was all kinds of rumors about why he was actually turned away, and it turns out it was just, he didn't want to wait the 30 minutes. And when this story broke, Adam Sandler responded by saying he actually just didn't know they didn't offer all-you-can-drink milkshakes. So the two reunion. First of all, IHOP responded actually to Adam Sandler with the whole all-you-can-drink milkshake things, and they actually had May 10th as all-you-can-drink milkshake day in the greater New York area at select locations. And nationwide, for every milkshake sold that day, $1 went to help comics give back.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man.
And then, of course, they got reunited. Diana Rodis, as I spoke of, got to reunite with the guy she turned away and was roasted for.
I mean, to be fair, he was wearing a mask, but
right.
It's still Adam Sandler, and I still think Adam Sandler with a mask on is still pretty recognizable.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Even if you're not positive, you're still like, I'm pretty sure that's like. And then the voice, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, hey, right on, man. So went from one mask story. Let's go to another mask story. I didn't even know there was a new Halloween movie coming out. Halloween Kills, it's called. And Michael Myers is sporting a new mask.
Yeah, man.
So what do you think of the new mask? This does not look like Shatner at all.
No, it definitely looks a lot more like it's similar to the last film with Jamie Lee Curtis. I think this is a direct sequel of that one, so it makes sense.
Is it a sequel to that?
I believe so, because Jamie Lee Curtis is in it again, and they're both written with oh geez, I can't think of his name now. He had a couple of TV series, one where he was a vice principal and one where he was an ex-baseball player.
Rob Zombie.
No. Anyway, but they got the Wes Craven approval, so or John Carpenter approval.
Nice.
Mixing
Right
up
on.
my iconic horror directors.
Yeah, it's not like it was anyone you've never heard of before, right?
Right.
Awesome. Well, we go from that story to a meeting of two comedic minds.
Yeah, not the first time, but Dave Chappelle appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast again this past week. Talked about a lot of stuff, of course, but mostly he talked about doing stand-up during the pandemic and what it's been like for him. Anybody who saw a couple of shows he put out in the field, social distanced,
Losing you there a bit, buddy. You're frozen, my boy. Or is it just me? But it seems like you got frozen
smoothly
there.
I did.
Yeah, I missed the whole entire end of whatever that was. I got the beginning.
So yeah, most recently of the 105 shows he's been doing during the pandemic, they've actually did a 13,000 seat show in Vegas where they tested before the show every single person and got them into the show in a timely fashion.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
that's smart though. I mean, but no. Here's my question with the testing: is it just like when they test us when we walk into a building lately, and it's like?
Well, I'm in
putting a temperature thing up to your head and asking you if you've been exposed lately.
So I'm in construction, and a lot of the sites we go to, we have to go into and sign in the site trailer, masked up, and we have to get our temperatures taken. It's, one of the protocols they to keep everybody safe. So yeah, I don't know if it was actually that or if it's one of these Insta COVID tests they have now in the States. I don't think they're like FDA approved in Canada here yet, but.
Let's not get into that either.
I know that Ticketmaster in London has said, or in London in particular, but across Europe says that they do not want to have to make it vaccine mandatory to attend a Ticketmaster show. So this looks like the route that they have gone in London with the testing or being able to prove COVID-free test within a few days. I think it's 72 hours of attending the show is something that we might be adapting here in North America, maybe Canada, because I know they're already announcing like huge festivals in the States for booked for like there's the one in Kentucky I just saw today. It's 4 days. The lineup is insane, and it's in like September 18th.
What are we doing for the NHL? Have they made up their mind yet on are they going to let players cross the border?
Yeah,
because it's playoffs,
right?
They have to. Like, you're just going to be like, okay, here's the American Stanley Cup winners, and here's the Canadian Stanley Cup winners. The only way the Leafs could win a Stanley Cup. And let me just put this out there to all the Leafs fans that are all celebrating everything. This whole season is an asterisk. I don't care what anyone says. This season don't count. You only played 6 Canadian teams. There's 7 teams in the league.
Yeah.
So you played 6 Canadian teams that were 4 or 5 were near the bottom of the fucking league anyways. So of course you're going to win the. I mean,
I agree. I agree with you, man.
This whole season is a total asterisk. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. You don't like it. If you want to do it properly, put the Canadian teams this year should have had them playing in the States.
Right.
Put them in the border towns. Put one in Rochester.
Toronto Raptors went south of the border. The Jays went south of the border to play their games.
Just saying. Because it's not an equal equivalent to how well you really have been playing. If you've only been playing trash the entire season, that's like being the best team in the NFC East the last fucking 2 seasons. That's like being like, oh, hey, we're better than the Cowboys without Dak and Philadelphia and New York, and all these other shitty teams. Sorry to go all sports geek on you folks, but that's what we do here too. And yes, Louder Than Life.
Yes, that's the festival that I was speaking of in Kentucky.
All right. Now that we're done on our little rant there about the Leafs. Well, my rant that you agree with. Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin. Well, Mark Bernardin wrote one episode, but Kevin Smith is a showrunner for something near and dear to you and my heart, I believe. And that is, he has come out with Netflix with a continuation of Masters of the Universe. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe coming to Netflix, dropping soon. They showed some pictures. I don't mind it. I like this art. Honestly,
Yeah.
it looks like the characters we grew up with. And yeah, it's not the animation we grew up with, but the animation we grew up with was kind of shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That was 100 times better. Some of the rest of the cast right here, we can see Evil Lynn, Tila, Orko looking fucking menacing, man.
Yeah.
I like it. I dig it. I don't know who the black chick is, and I don't know who the dude in the helmet is, but Tila looks badass. So here's my thing. This may be a bit of a controversial take, but female geeks, this is female feminist type geeks. Let's just say feminist geeks. You don't have to be female to be feminist. I understand being upset about the exploitation of women when it comes to comic books and stuff. No worries, you go. I'll go on me. I understand when it comes to the exploitation of women and, you know, showing you all having big boobs or in, you know, really scantily clad clothing. I understand being upset about that. What I don't get is just as long as they've had girls like that, there's always been guys like He-Man who's always just been in a loincloth, you know, or you guys are cool with Captain America or Thor. They always have to have their t-shirt off. Stephen Amell used to fight with his producers online on the TV show Arrow because he was like, why do I have to have my t-shirt off every scene? Like, the scene makes no sense. So my thing is, I get it. I get if women don't want to be exploited, but why is it? You know me, it's the hypocrisy thing. And I'm not saying all women are being hypocrites about this. And I'm not even saying anyone's purposely being a hypocrite, because a lot of times we're hypocritical without knowing we're that. My question is, why is it okay for scantily clad dressed men and for women to oogle and be like, oh yeah, but when men do that to women, it's a bad thing. And I'm not saying that they're wrong saying it's a bad thing when men do it. I'm saying, why is it not equally as bad when women do it?
Yeah.
It is 2021 now. So if we want true equality means equality.
And I know plenty of women who have been in both male and female strip joints, and the women are way worse.
Dude,
way worse.
For real. My mother ran a strip club my entire life, as you know. It's so much better. The towel thing. Have you ever, what male strippers do with the towel with them? Just saying. Not being big-headed or lording it over anyone. Yeah. Not being big-headed or lording it over anyone, as we're an island, but we have no restrictions here for COVID other than travel. Some peeps here don't seem to realize how lucky we are. Yeah, man, you guys are really lucky because the rest, look at India right now. So I watched a video of a newscast in India. They're burning bodies in the street, like dead bodies, because there's no more room in the ICUs. There's no more room in the crematoriums. It's messed up. So yeah, we're as bad as we're saying it is here, we still have it really lucky compared to a lot of other places in the world. And that's not negating any bad that's happening here. But I'm just saying perspective. That's all. Yeah. He-Man is bald. Yeah, inside joke. I don't know if that's man at arms
too, but I don't think so.
Yeah, let's take another look. I don't. It looks more like a. I think it's a bad guy because
Yeah.
he's behind Evil Lynn, basically.
Right.
So
Yeah. I don't see
now this show is a
man arms.
continuation. It's going to be a continuation of the 1980s He-Man show that you and I watched. So that's another reason why I'm really looking forward to it. Now we've got that animation. You've got other animation news for us.
I do. Danny DeVito, who's been on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for a record-breaking amount of seasons, looks like he's going to be continuing to work with FX in a new animated horror series called Little Demon. This is going to star voice actors Aubrey Plaza, his daughter Lucy DeVito, and Dan Harmon from Rick and Morty, as we were talking about earlier.
That's Lucy DeVito?
Yes.
No way. Oh, I didn't know that was his daughter. Well, that's kind of cool. And that's a pretty epic cast too. I love Danny DeVito because he's the ultimate dick. We have never known him not to play a dick.
Yeah.
If you want to go back to like our children's era when like Hercules came out, even when he was the trainer for Hercules in that animated, he was a dick. But when we were kids, he was the boss on Taxi, the dispatcher. And he was a douche. Like, so good, though. Like, always
I'm a big fan of It's Always Sunny, and I like his character on the show. I know that show is not for everybody. My girlfriend,
I haven't seen it.
she started watching it the first couple seasons, and then she just said she's like, they're just so dumb. I can't watch it anymore. And I'm like, nah.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't really say. I know of it. I know it's been on for a record amount of years. I know there's a million memes about that show.
To be fair, though, with their record-breaking seasons, they only do 10 episodes a season. So to be fair to other sitcoms, there are still other sitcoms that have had more episodes. So
right, over less seasons.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of... we talked about revivals with He-Man. We got another kind of kids revival. Our kids are happy about this. Well, mine is. And that's the revival of iCarly coming back to coming to Hulu, I believe. Not actually Nickelodeon. I'm honestly not too positive on that. I was never a big fan of the show, honestly. My kids watch a bunch of shows, but for me, I was never really a big one on iCarly. I don't know if you actually ever watched it or not, but it just wasn't my thing. How about you guys? Did you ever watch it, Steve? Like, are you familiar with iCarly?
Not really, no.
No, it was a YTV show, which would have been which is the Nickelodeon equivalent here in Canada. So we had like Cartoon Network our Teletoon is their Cartoon Network. Our Family Channel is their Disney Channel. And our YTV was their Nickelodeon. Like, they all carried all their shows. So, and that was one of them. I just know my son really, really stoked about it coming back. So I'm happy for him. Ron says it was okay. Kurt Jr. saying, was that Trap Jaw maybe? You know what? Or wasn't Trapjaw, it was Lockjaw, wasn't his name?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
But I know who he's talking about. He had that green head in the metal.
I definitely had him.
Yeah, me too. Adam. You know what's funny is I had so many He-Man toys, and I was not a huge He-Man fan. Like, I watched all the episodes only because we had, one channel of cartoons.
Right.
You know? So Saturday morning and before school. Hey, William, how you doing, buddy? The Human, it might be Henry Rollins as Triclops. Oh, that's right. Henry Rollins is in this. I don't think it's Triclops, though. Because Triclops had the spinny thing where his eyes would change, right?
Right.
Now we're all get that, like, that's what the show's just turned into. It's like, who is that? He-Man, not human. We knew what you meant though.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that. Now we go from, you know, the kids being happy about iCarly coming back to the kids of the same age being happy that their YouTube sensation has got another big gig coming up.
Yeah,
And,
you're
yeah.
Yeah,
Go
you're
ahead.
speaking, of course, of Logan Paul. He's going to be fighting Floyd Mayweather on June 6th, I believe. There was a video that was out earlier this week where there was an interaction between him and Jake, I believe,
Yes, it
where
was.
they were jawing back and forth, and he took his hat and tried to take off with it.
That's why he's got that shiner there in this picture.
He's since been banned from the arena for the fight and has said that he has had to hire private security from all the death threats he's been receiving.
I mean, do you know much about these guys?
Just from what my kids have told me.
No, but have they just told you recently, or have you known about them?
No, it's been an ongoing thing.
Yeah, same. Like I remember them for a while. Seeing my son would show me a lot of videos, and then there was the video. I'm not sure which one. I think it's the one that's actually fighting. That was in Japan and found the hanging body in the suicide jungle or forest they have there,
Right.
and took all the heat from that for posting it on YouTube. But yeah, I've known them since then, and yeah, they're not likable guys if you're not their age and you don't get that. And we don't. There's nobody in the world that wants to grow up and be the get off my lawn guy or the get off my lawn old lady, but we all become it to something.
Yeah.
And these guys are, because it's always something we don't get. And
Right.
I'm sorry, these brothers, we don't get. And that's weird to say from Gen X, because dudes like that were kind of like people we knew in our era, but
Yeah.
we would beat them up. We weren't used to them being able to beat us up.
Yeah, and
let's be honest, they could throw.
The undercard of this fight is going to be Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson fighting, and I don't know why I don't have his opponent's name in front of me, but the story was he originally said that he was offered a fight against Pac-Man Jones. For those not to know, Pac-Man Jones, Adam Jones, was also a Cincinnati Bengal. Their careers crossed over a little bit. Pac-Man Jones playing in the most recent Andy Dalton incarnation of Cincinnati Bengals before our Lord and Savior Joe Burrow has descended upon us. I'm hoping.
Oh, is he going to be back for the opening game against us?
So I remember even when the injury happened, and almost immediately the announcers were talking about the length of that particular surgery and how long it had taken athletes previously to recover from that. And they said the timeline really did work for Joe to be able to be back for possibly one, maybe two preseason games, if that's going to be enough. I mean, I think they're only playing 3 anyways this season. But,
yeah, because they added an extra game in the season. It's
right.
You're actually playing 17 games.
Yeah, the 17th game this year. That's right.
Yeah. Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, is fighting BKFC veteran Brian Maxwell on the Mayweather versus Paul card. Please, oh please, oh please, Floyd, don't make this Conor McGregor where you just let Conor get all those shots in and you're toying with him, playing, and just let's have fun. It makes, for once in your boxing career, because I've watched you your entire career, you may be undefeated and arguably the greatest of all time. I still say Rocky Marciano. But show something. Show that you're dominant. Don't just be fast and get out of people's way. Fuck this guy up, like for real. And I mean this in the nicest, most brutalist way possible. No, just fuck this guy up. Like, this is a kid that needs some humility in his life. And I think we all do once in a while. I've had my humility handed to me. Steve's had his humility handed to him. I mean, that's just, it's a part of what makes you humble or appreciative of life.
I learned just not to have any.
Different type of humility with you.
I know.
I wish I had the New Year's picture on standby. I know we are past this, but Justin Long as Roboto. I need more. Oh. From He-Man. Maybe. Because I don't think was Roboto a real, not a real character. Like, is he a new character is what I'm going to ask. Because I don't remember him from the original He-Man.
No, me neither.
But those later seasons in He-Man, I don't remember as much as the earlier ones because those were the ones we saw the most on repeat. I mean, that shit's just kind of out of the world, if you will, to me. Speaking of out of the world, that's my segue. Not a very good one. So last Friday, a guy by the name of Jeremy Corbell, who's a filmmaker, mind you, released a video showing a UFO. Now, he's a filmmaker, so we're all like, oh, well, you can't really believe it or anything like that. I'm going to show you. This is just a still shot from the video. The little triangle that you see in the middle there, that's moving around a ton in the video. I'm just not showing it because I don't want us to get thrown off of Facebook because Facebook's like that. But the Pentagon has made this their officially third confirmed different video from this year. Sorry, from the past year.
Yeah.
So going back to 2020, over a year, of an actual UFO saying that these videos are real. And now they're starting to get a little nervous about it all. There's so many questions. Listen, I've always been of the mindset that there's no way there's just us.
Right.
Now, I'm not even saying that what we're seeing out there is an alien or anything like that. I'm just saying to think that we're the only life forms, whether it be amoebas, whether it be protoplasm, whether it be animal life, but throughout the entire universe, and that we're the only sentient ones seems really, really iffy. I mean, we can't be the only carbon-based planet in all of the universe. So there, and we've seen the Andromeda galaxy. There's other planets that are mirrors of Earth, unless we're just actually seeing a mirror of Earth. But I don't even know what my point is. Anyways, there's just I've just always been of that kind of mindset that the universe is just too big for it just to be just us. Especially even now Mars, like they just detected stuff the bacteria on Mars.
We previously thought didn't exist there.
Right. Exactly. So we just don't know. And I'm excited. Like this is another video that they saw earlier last year, and that was from US Air Force pilots fucking camera. So, and the Pentagon is admitting this. My point of thought is, one, they're saying they're afraid, so should we be afraid? And two, why is the Pentagon telling us this shit now? I mean, this has never been their MO.
No.
So why now? This isn't the conspiracy show. This is just the third glass of Jack Daniel's show. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of messed up. Road trip to Area 51. Everybody always says that. Listen, here's the thing. If there really was an Area 51, and then way back in the 70s or whenever it was, when it was kind of, started to be known, people started talking about it. If you're the American government, don't you move? And if it's Area 51, where are the other areas? Like, is there more than 51? Is there an Area 54? Is there an Area 1012? We don't know. So if people thought it was in New Mexico at Area 51, I mean, if I'm the American government, I'm moving that shit right away. Just saying. Underground. No, it's not underground. Well, I mean, could be, but I just wouldn't keep it there. It's the Vulcans. It's time to meet the universe. Okay, so me as a Star Trek guy, that's what I hope. I am hoping that Elon Musk is our Zephyrin Cochrane, if you will. Because he made the SpaceX rocket and he's sending tourists into outer space. Maybe this is the time where aliens are like, all right, they've got to that point where they're using space travel as a luxury. Now we can make contact with them. They're smart enough that way. Now we need to make contact and say, stop doing the fighting shit before you start fucking up the rest of the universe.
Right.
I mean, I need to, stop smoking dope during these shows. All right. So from one crazy story to another crazy story most people thought would never happen.
Seth Rogen was recently on the Howard Stern show. Spoke about a lot of things. Talked about his good friend. Worked with him on a few films. James Franco has come under a lot of allegations lately from a lot of women being Me Too'd. So that relationship seems to be on ice as he'll no longer work with James Franco again. Only the future will tell. But another great story he told on Howard Stern this week involved him and his longtime writing partner, Evan Goldberg, taking a meeting with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. They had previously met Steven Spielberg, so they had a little bit of rapport with him. During the meeting, he said Steven Spielberg took a call, left the room, which left them alone with George Lucas, and some awkward silence had passed. And this was in 2011. George Lucas turns to them and says, so 2012, end of the world? And they were just like, oh, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, I got a spaceship. And they're thinking, okay, George Lucas, the $8 billion, well, at the time, $4 billion man, not $8 billion. But, of course, who else is going to have a spaceship but, George Lucas, right? And they began, entertaining him and letting him talk about it. And he's like, can I get a seat on that ship? And George Lucas was like, no. And then he wondered
whether it was true or not. So he doesn't even know if it's true or not, eh?
No.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. This is where the plans from SpaceX really came from.
Right.
From LucasArts and film. That is pretty crazy. Well, speaking of LucasArts and film, we have got some juicy rumors coming out of Inverse, out of not comicbook.com, but a lot of other comic book related websites. So take this with a grain of salt. They even say these are just rumors. But if they're true, how cool is this that The Mandalorian Season 3 will feature a young Rey and will continue the Rey Skywalker story is what a lot of the sources are saying.
That's right.
What the fuck is going on with Rey? If it's the Rey Skywalker saga is continuing, but this takes place before Force Awakens, right?
Right.
So, is she a Palpatine? Is she a Skywalker? Is she a nobody? Or is she like she was meant to be really a Kenobi? Because did you read that was the original plan, is she was actually supposed to be a Kenobi? That's which right. Was remember I was like, oh, she should be a Kenobi after the whole Filoni thing. They said they couldn't find love. They didn't say they couldn't have sex. That's also another loophole in the Jedi thing. Yeah. They're not allowed to fall in love. They are allowed to have sex.
Right.
Because if not, they would become Siths. Or Catholic priests.
Oh, hey-oh.
I'm sorry. Oh, moving on. Well, what do you think, though? Are you okay with that? With Ray's story being told?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that I remember shortly after the last movie came out that along with John Bogoya, she was one of the actors that said that they were done with Star
Yeah.
Wars. And I mean, but Mark Hamill said that too. Harrison Ford said that too. So
And he even came back again.
anything's on the table.
Hmm.
I'm just really hoping and holding out for that Solo sequel because that movie deserves a sequel. I'm
There's a
sorry.
lot of people that really love that solo movie. I'm
They
not one of
really
them,
so
but
set us up for it, and we were going to get the whole story of Solo and Jabba the Hutt. They introduced Darth Maul near the end there. Like, I mean,
yeah,
oh God,
I was down for that part. And
yeah,
Ray Park was supposed to be back as Maul, but it was going to be Sam Witwer voicing Maul, and
right.
he's the guy that voiced Maul in the actual Clone Wars cartoon.
And it was reported before the movie came out that the actor who played Solo, he was originally signed to a 3-picture deal with Disney. So,
Hmm. All I want
and,
is
and this is coming from someone who shat on this movie from the second the idea was even hatched.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It was the reverse of me with Ghostbusters, the female version, where I was the only one being like, "Give it a shot, guys! Come on, guys, be nice." It's you guys are just being misogynistic, and then we're watching. I was like, "Oh shit, ladies,
As
you
Luke
ain't
saying,
helping."
he just hopes Grogu doesn't get massacred by Ben Solo. Yeah, because that's something a lot of people were talking about
But
shortly after that.
is it so? Is it that close after that? Really?
It definitely could have matched up that timeline for sure.
So then the Ray thing, she doesn't have to be that young. It could actually be Daisy Ridley back.
Yeah, it could be.
Because that's what most of the sites that I saw said that Daisy Ridley was coming back.
Right.
But I was like,
That is nice also.
but I was like, oh, she's got to be so young in those. But
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we see what they can do with filters just on Instagram. I mean, they can make her look young again easily. I'm sure in Adobe. So I don't know. I'm up for it though. I would like to see more Ray. I would love to see them. So people wanted to see the sequels retconned, which I don't really want to see. As much as I didn't like the Ryan Johnson version, and there's two camps. You're either a JJ fan or you're the Ryan Johnson kind of side. And that's cool, whatever side you're on. But a lot of people wanted to see and thought they were going to see a whole retcon of those sequels. But I think this is a way to do small retcons like they did from, the prequels into the Clone Wars cartoons and stuff. I think they can do some stuff here where they negate, actually where Rey thinks she's a Palpatine, but she's actually, Solo's granddaughter or something.
Yeah.
Because there's also all that time that he's on. What's the planet that he's on with Luke, watching Luke?
Tatooine.
Tatooine, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's where the Obi-Wan series takes place. So maybe, oh my God, do we see the birth of Rey's parents?
Maybe. Yeah.
I like it. I like where our head is at. I feel like we're kind of spiraling down a fucking chasm of what if so.
We definitely are spiraling. And speaking of spirals, this weekend, yesterday, actually, the 8th or 9th movie in the Saw franchise debuted. Speaking, of course, of Spiral Book of Saw, starring Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. Leading up to yesterday's release, they actually released the first 3 minutes available on YouTube. If you haven't yet seen Saw and want to check it out, you can go to YouTube and watch the first 3 minutes of Spiral, and it is intense.
So you did watch it?
I did watch the first 3 minutes, yes.
Is there any huge spoilers in the first 3 minutes?
I'll tell you that we do see a new killer, a new villain.
Copycat?
somewhat, and we do see our first trap very early.
I'm just saying, I can't. No. That's a spoiler. Listen, I still haven't watched the first Saw movie. I am not a torture guy. I cannot watch torture porn movies like Saw, Turistada, Cabin in the Woods wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
And that was, and then the end of that was nothing like the rest of the movie. So, I mean, I don't want to give spoilers away because that is one of those movies you don't want to give the spoiler away to, though. Cabin in the Woods, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm as a big time horror fan. I've never been a huge fan of the Hostels or the Turistas or the Saw movies. But having watched the first few Saw movies, and then I kind of fell off until a few more had come out. And then I remember watching 4 and 5 like back to back, and you realize that those movies are actually happening consecutively.
Oh,
and
no shit.
The story for going on 7, 8 movies, the writing actually was really good. They definitely methodically planned these out, and I really like that about it. And I actually kind of fell in love with the series again.
Oh wow, well, that's good.
And the first movie, that it is definitely one of those movies. Like I remember where I was when I saw Saw. Like it is so ingrained in my brain.
Well, you know me, I don't like horror movies, but I think what I'm finding out later in life, it's not so much horror movies I don't like, it's torture. And I don't like watching carving. I think that's it. I don't like seeing people carved into. So I don't think I liked any of the slasher movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Wars, was it, when he carves open the veins, and the Puppet Master. I'm just saying. And then you get into the Saws and stuff like that. And then it's so weird. I'll watch, and I talk about it all the time, I'm sorry, but I'll watch Warrior, and they do the same shit in that. And I'm like, oh yeah, woohoo, did you see that? Did you see how he cut right through his bone right there? But no. Yeah, I don't know. Those movies, though, it's just too much for me. Oh, those are other ones I can't watch either. The Final Destination. I watched the first movie.
I like those too. Those were pretty good.
I can't watch those just because it fucks me up wherever I go in life afterwards. I'm on the highway and I'm behind a fucking truck that's got lumber on it, or it's got fucking fencing on it, or it's got spikes on it for some reason that are facing my car. I'm like, fuck. And then I think, if it happens and somehow I escape death, it's still coming for me, and I'm gonna die even worse than I would have of just taking it and dying instantly. Because fuck that show, man. Fuck that movie.
See, we grew up on the back end of the era where, it was what you didn't see scared you.
Yes.
And then we got into the 80s where, practical effects became a huge thing. And then we had the very gory, 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like it's what you didn't see. You don't see the killer till the end of the movie, or it's always the anticipation of what's going to happen, and then it doesn't for the 17th goddamn time.
The original Friday the 13th. Like that movie was probably the scariest out of the entire series. Mind you, I probably haven't seen like 7 through. I think I did see 10. That was the outer space one, right?
Yeah, Jason
With
X.
Busta? Was Busta in that?
Was it Busta in that one? I'm not sure. Yeah, that was Jason X though in space. Yeah, that was great.
Or was it Exhibit? I think it was Busta. But yeah, it was. Did you just say it was great?
It was great. I love Jason X.
It was Sharknado. It was Sharknado level.
It's definitely my top 5 of all Jason movies.
It's not saying when you don't have a huge sample size, that's not a good number. Urban Legends. So that's a movie I watched. Didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
Liked it. You know what else? I Know What You Did Last Summer, Screams. Those never bothered me at all. Poltergeist never bothered me at all.
Yeah, there was
I'm
a couple
reviewing The Conjuring tonight.
that's
For
another
He
one of
Said,
those
She
movies.
Said, and I'll tell you what I think about that tonight if you guys watch. Go ahead. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, Poltergeist. That's another one of those movies. Like I remember where I was. I watched it at my neighbor's, and so the way it was there was my parents' house, and then there's alleyway,
Oh, yeah?
and at the time the neighbors that lived beside the alleyway, they had a huge bush like hedge, and then at the end of the hedge was a tree, so you had to go all the way down the driveway and around the tree. And after watching Poltergeist in their house, because they were the only people on the block with a Betamax, I had to run around this tree to get home, and I'm like, fuck that. I remember fucking all the stairs on the porch. I jumped over this like 6-foot hedge and tucked and rolled on the gravel driveway because I was not going near that tree.
That's too funny to hear because I would never think that shit ever would bother you. And I know exactly where you're talking about as well because we played there a shit ton when we were kids.
I remember watching Children of the Corn at Moose's house when he lived on Park Street, and I had to walk all the way home from Park Street home. And oh my god,
Really? Yeah, I would never have guessed that any horror movie would have ever bothered you. Yeah. But like I said, I'm starting to realize horror movies don't bother me. It's torture and slow. You know what else? You said earlier we were talking about you don't like watching stuff that's like real life, like Pimple Popper and shit like that. And I'm thinking that a lot of that is me too. When it comes to like the torture stuff, I don't like the stuff where it looks real and psychologically. And I've never been a fan of war movies either because I feel it shows the worst of us. And there's also just we do horrific shit in the name of war and religion, really. Luke Tuff says, Creatures from the Black Lagoon scared the crap out of me as a kid, then Jaws. As you say, you didn't see, although like Steve, I love the horror movies now.
Yeah. And I find
those
myself
never bothered me,
going,
either one of those.
Yeah, I find myself going across the pond, as we say, to find my horror movies lately. I like a lot of foreign horror movies. I watch a lot of a lot of Asian horror movies. The Middle East has got some crazy stuff coming out of the Middle East in horror movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, no, that's you. I still keep that all on you. It's all you, kid, all you. I'm just not brave enough. I think that shit's crazy, and those people should be locked up in Arkham Asylum. I don't know. That's just my way of trying to make a segue to the next story. Rumor out there has it that HBO, so they have the Peacemaker series, which is a spinoff from the new Suicide Squad movie, where John Cena is going to have his own series based on his character that no one's ever heard of. That's not the only one they're in talks of doing. HBO Max is in talks of doing an Arkham Knights, Batman Arkham Knights show on HBO with Ben Affleck returning as the Cape Crusader. Now, I think you're not a big Ben Affleck fan or not a fan of him as Batman, and I don't know if that's just me assuming that.
Yeah, I definitely like a lot of his movies. I'm a big fan of a movie that I know a lot of people aren't a fan of, and that's Reindeer Games. I love Reindeer Games. I thought it was a great movie. I mean, you got Gary Sinise,
but it was good.
They're on. Like, what else do you want, man?
Yeah. Corbo says The Ring for Asian horror. Yes.
Yeah,
another good one. But that wasn't even called The Ring. Like
Ringu.
Ringu, yeah, was their version, yeah. Yeah, no, to me, Affleck's the best Batman. He's the best Bruce Wayne. He's the best Batman. He maybe is written. He's maybe not written, but he's in the worst DC universe. So it's not the best representation of the DC universe, but I think it was a decent representation of Batman. Yeah, he was really dark, but it was very Frank Miller Dark Knight dark, where he was very violent, and if you happen to die because of some of the shit he did, oh well. But people are always saying, oh, well, Batman doesn't kill, and I'm like, Michael Keaton's killed the Joker at the end of the first Batman movie. Pretty sure he killed some other dudes during that movie when he was flying the X-1, shooting the machine guns at everyone. The second one, he had bombs drop out of the Batmobile and blow up people around him. Batman's always killed. In Christopher Nolan, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. Same thing, motherfucker. You're a hero. If he's a bad guy and he's about to die, you're still supposed to save him. That's what Batman does. So when it comes to this in the movies, stop complaining saying that Affleck's the first one to do it, because he's not. But I think his Bruce Wayne was great. I've always said, I think he's a great actor. I think he looks like Batman, which really helps. He could act like Batman, and he can act like Bruce Wayne. So he could be that billionaire playboy that you can't rely on to show up to meetings because he's always out with models till 3 a.m, which he's actually out beating up bad guys, right? So I'm down for this, like 110%.
Yeah, I was definitely impartial to his actual portrayal. Like once I actually saw the movie, going into it, I wasn't a fan because I think I don't like him in more movies than I do like him in. But when I like him in a movie, I really like him in a movie.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Have you seen The Town?
I have.
Love The Town. I thought he was fantastic in that movie. He directed that movie. Argo was a great film.
Yeah.
Fucking a little boring, but he's good in that. Wrote and directed as well. Good Will Hunting, he was great. Dazed and Confused, fucking loved him as O'Banion. We've seen him in Kevin Smith movies. This is why I've always loved Ben Affleck, though, is because everyone's like, he's such a hard ass, he's so serious, and I'm like, he's been in every fucking Kevin Smith movie, every Kevin Smith comedy, basically. Like, I mean, that's just who he is. I love him. I mean, you're not going to like my answer. I'm going to say my least favorite Joker is Heath Ledger. I'm not going to say, but that's not saying he was a bad actor. I loved his performance. To me, that was nowhere near the fucking Joker. And that's not an indictment on Heath Ledger's performance. That's on whoever wrote that Joker. To me, that Joker, and I've said this, and Steve's probably sick of hearing this, because we've been saying this since that movie came out in like 2014 or whatever. I've been saying this. But if Harley Quinn and the Joker were to have a kid, it would have been Heath Ledger's Joker. He was emo. He was reserved. He laughed, but it wasn't very often. It wasn't a maniacal laugh. He was just demented, and he had a plan.
No.
That's not the Joker. Great fucking performance. I fucking loved it. But it wasn't the Joker for me. For me, the best Joker is Jack Nicholson. I haven't seen a better one. Unless you're talking animated, then I'll say Mark Hamill. But that's voice acting.
Yeah, my least favorite would definitely be Suicide Squad Joker.
Jared Leto.
I'm not a huge Jared Leto fan, and I didn't really like the portrayal of the Joker in it either. My favorite Joker still is Cesar Romero.
Yeah, with that I couldn't, just because of the mustache. Just because of the mustache. He wouldn't shave the mustache, and you could see it underneath his makeup, and it was just... And it ended... That show ended, what, 10, 15 years before we were born?
Yeah, 10 years.
Because it only lasted, what, 1 season, 2 seasons? 66 Batman?
Yeah.
So that was like...
the movie, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But that's where we got the film term, or the TV term, jumping the shark.
Right.
Oh, no, that is not. That is not.
No,
I'm sorry. That's the Fonz. Happy Days, the Fonz. I'm sorry.
No, Batman movie was the shark repellent.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, but he was my fave. Heath Ledger. Yeah, I figured he was. Who dat?
I definitely liked it. I liked his performance as the Joker. Do I think it was Oscar worthy or
Who's that?
Heath Ledger?
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't that level performance, but like you said, I think it was more the way he was written, right? So he played it the way he was written, right?
And people shit on Heath Ledger when he was cast as that. And at that point, I was like, you guys don't, because I was one of the few, at least back then, I felt like one of the few that was like, dude, you don't know who you have right now. Because I got turned on to his acting in 10 Things I Hate About You. Given I'm a old theater dude, so I'm a Shakespeare guy and I love The Taming of the Shrew. And that's what 10 Things I Hate About You basically was. But he was great in that with Julia Stiles. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I've never seen it, but yeah, Julia Stiles, you're right.
Yeah, really great movie. He was great in The Patriot with Mel Gibson. A Knight's Tale, I mean, wasn't the best movie, but he was good in it. Like it was serviceable. I always thought he was a really good actor. So when he got cast as Joker, I was like, yeah, man, I really like this idea. And then when I watched the movie, I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of the Nolan movies of Batman. I'm just like, they're okay. They're like Zack Snyder's fucking DC universe, though. Let's try to be as dark and edgy as possible. Let's show we're not Marvel. We're the complete opposite. So, whatever. And yes, we love your profile pic, Ron. And TR, I don't know who TR is. Thank you for tuning in from YouTube. TR says Jack Nicholson. Yeah, man, I agree. It was wrote wrong. Yeah, exactly. Heath Ledger would have went down as the best Joker, in my opinion, had they written him like they did Jack Nicholson's. Even had they written him like Jared Leto's and not went with all the tattoos. I didn't even mind Jared Leto's. It was just the aesthetics of it. And even the tattoos made sense to me if Batman was supposed to be in his 40s, his late 40s, and Jared Leto was supposed to be or Joker was supposed to be in his 30s or early 40s. He would have had 30 years or 20 years of Batman beating the shit out of him. He's crazy. Probably would have done all that shit. I don't know. The grill, too. That's just me, though. But yeah, that's it. That's my last story. That's my Arkham story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, see what I did there? Wasn't bad. There is one thing we forgot to do. We do have a new segment that we had been doing, and I forgot to do it after your 5-second movie review. And that is our TikToker of the week. This is one of my favorites. I don't know his name. You'll see it at the end there. I don't know how to. You'll see it. It'll be popped up there. But our TikToker of the week goes to this man who you see a lot of videos on TikTok and on YouTube and Facebook of, hey, did this happen to you? Did your thing get tied up real rough? Here's a DIY hack on how to fix it. He shows you some easier ways. Just take a look.
I might pull up flexing on these niggas like a rope.
It's the final brain cell.
That dude's fucking great. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Kahabi.lame. I think you'll see it again when you go look for him. His videos are all basically that people fixing solutions by making shit harder than they need to be. And we all do it. We've all done it. And he calls us out on it. And like Corbo said, I love that guy. He is indeed awesome. So that is our TikToker of the week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go give him a follow, give him a shout out, tell him that RatG TV sent you. Not that he'll know who the hell we are. No. But yeah, give us a follow on TikTok as well. I am on TikTok under Zeus Fleming. Steve's not on there yet. He's old. But he just doesn't realize that TikTok is basically all Gen Xers now anyways. It really is. It used to be all kids, but it's all us now. We kind of took it over. We're like moss. Or some other type of weed that just grows everywhere. That's the weed. Anyways, yeah, this has been a fun show. Steve, you got anything? Any parting words? What did you think of that? What did you think of Dude?
Yeah, it's like you said. You know, a lot of people make things way harder than they need to be. I'm a big believer in calling people out on shit like that. So, I like it.
I think you'll really like that dude. If you ever get into YouTube or into TikTok, follow that dude. If not, I'm pretty sure you can follow him on YouTube as well. And I share his shit quite a bit. Yeah. Anything going on this week for you?
No, that's it's another COVID summer, man. Well, it's not summer yet, but we're getting closer. The nice weather is definitely here.
Dude, my AC's on all the time. It's just off right now because I'm doing this, as you can tell. Yeah. Got my shine going.
I had heard on the radio, I don't know if we mentioned this last week or not, but I heard on the radio that Ontario is the only place in the world you cannot go golfing right now.
It's I don't understand Ford's thought process here. And let's not fuck this up, anyone, because this is a Ford thing. So his thought process was that he said in the news conference was that he thinks that buddies will go out for beers after golfing, and that's why you can't golf, and that is also why people can't play on playgrounds. So kids can't go play on playgrounds because they might go out for beers afterwards.
Right.
I'm just saying, what the fuck, man? Like, really? What the literal fuck? The beer with you, yes. Sorry, bring the beers with you. Thank you, Ron. Yes, this has been a fun show. And no, neither one of us understands the Doug Ford thinking here. I am going to say, though, and I've never been a Ford supporter. Anyone who knows me knows I am not. I'm the farthest thing from. But the only thing I will say is this is new to everybody, whether he or Trudeau or any other politician across Canada is handling it wrong or anywhere across the world. Try to remember this is the first time we've dealt with this. Oh, for those of you that are and I'm just putting this out there just to think about. For those of you out there that are worried about how they came up with this so quickly, I'm there with you, but please try to remember that COVID-19 is a COVID strain, which is a part of the SARS family. So we already had a vaccine for SARS. So it stands to reason that it wouldn't be as difficult to come up with a vaccine that is a derivative of that same virus, because this is a derivative of that same virus. Just saying. And I'm at AZ, like that AstraZeneca, like I won't get that. You get what you want to get. If you're going to get vaccinated, I'm not telling you to. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying if and when I get vaccinated, it won't be that one in particular. Great show, guys, but Deadpool for the win. But you can pack the Niagara Trail walking it. Dude, that's a false quote. Listen, don't do that shit. Don't do the, and I'm not yelling at you, but don't do the, oh, well, you could do this, but fuck these, let's try to fuck these guys over too. Like, don't fuck over the people that can walk on a trail because you're mad because they're fucking us over in another spot. Because then both of those will be gone. The reason why golf's not there now is because people complained that golf was there the last time when everything else was off. So stop it. You guys, that comment, Ron, I'm not picking on you in particular, but comments like that is why the government knee jerks. And the next time they do a lockdown, Niagara Trail walking will be included if too many comments like that are out there. I mean, that's just me speculating that, but it just look at the history. It sure looks that way. Anyways, that's me going off on a tangent. I just want us to be back to normal, like us all, like we all do. I want to be able to go to conventions and meet you folks in person. That's it. And I want us all to be safe for sure. I know you understand.
Better to understand than to overstand.
True. Is it better to be overwhelmed, underwhelmed, or just whelmed?
I'm not a
And
fan
has
of.
anyone ever just been whelmed?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of whelming in general.
Sounds too much like Welland.
I'm a big fan of Welland.
I know you are. Says the Wellandwingnut, as it says behind your head there. East side represent.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, I guess that's kind of it for now. If you folks like the show, we love having you guys in. We really do. If you have ideas for topics for upcoming shows, let us know. We'll gladly put it in the old idea bucket there and do our best to bring it out to you because we need content.
It's just a garbage can.
Now, we talked about this beforehand. We talked about doing the DC Extended Universe. There's not enough movies for us to do a ranking of that. There's only like 6 movies, I think maybe 5 movies. We can't do a top 5. We can do maybe a best superhero movies. We can do best comic book or best superhero, whatever. But we do like doing these shows where we can reach out to our geeks because let's be honest, you guys are the ones that got us here. So we want to make it fun for you as well. So let us know in the comments what you want to see us do, and we will definitely do it. And Luke Tuff says, surely it depends where the whelmed is. I got Moderna. I love it. I hope you're feeling good, buddy. And yeah, man, I don't hate on anyone getting the vaccines. I don't hate on anyone not getting them. I don't even hate on you not wearing a mask. The only thing that I hate on is if you know that there's rules that are like you're free to make whatever decision you want. But if you make those decisions and then you want to go to a concert, you want to go to a fucking play, you want to go to the cinema or something like that, and that company makes it mandate that you have to be vaccinated to get in, then that's their prerogative. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree. I'm just saying that's every company's fucking own prerogative.
Well, now that I know that Kurt Jr. being a Steelers fan got the Moderna, I'm definitely getting Pfizer if I get it.
I thought you were going to go with AZ. I thought you were really going to say AZ. He's like, fuck it. How about top 5 non-MCU hero movies? I like that. I was even thinking the top animated cartoons, like top animated superhero cartoons. because with Invincible out there now, we've got Young Justice. Although I'm more into those than Steve is, but yeah, there's some good ones. Didn't actually get a choice. Oh, that sucks, Luke. But hey, I'm glad that you're feeling good because you did have the AZ. And far as I know, I'm talking about what I've heard, not what I know. So take this with a grain of salt. But I don't know that I've heard of any of those blood clot issues happening with AZ anywhere else in the world aside from Canada.
Yeah, I know of 3 of them now in Canada.
Yeah, I think there's actually been more than 3.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I've actually heard of it outside of Canada. Again, I'm speaking of what I've heard, not what I know. So don't take that as gospel. Anyways, we've had a long show. It's been an hour. It's been 2 hours.
2 hours.
Holy shit! I got to be back on the air in 2 hours. So, folks, I hope you had a good time. This is what happens when I drink Jack Daniels during the show. I'll probably be asleep during He Said, She Said. So tune in. I might not actually be there.
Just put Clanny in your place.
I will always put Clanny in my place because Clanny should probably be in all of our places because look at that beautiful son of a bitch. We all love Clanny. We all love you guys as well. 3 at least in Welland. With Blood. Ron, talk about what you know, not what you heard. That's what I just been saying about myself this entire time. Same deal. Talk about what you know, not what you hear. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This has been a long time. Steve wants to get out of here. I want to get out of here. We will see you.
My supper's right there. I can't reach it.
You could have eaten during the show. We've done it.
No.
Anyways, for the Wellandwingnut, I'm your boy Zeus. I hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you all next Saturday. Peace.